Hey. How you doing,
Hey,
Alex?
I'm all
Nice.
right. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Alex is here today to join us on the WP Build webinar series, and he's got a really great product for you. I think it's going gangbusters, as far as I can see from
And
all of the different bits and pieces on social media. You've had a very nice week so far.
yeah, it's been exciting to say the least.
Yeah, well done. So it's brand
Thank you.
new. So we're here really for two purposes. Firstly, to show what Alex's brand new plugin, which is called Siren Affiliates, can do. But also, maybe you're one of the lucky ones who got one of the deals already, and you've got the plugin in your back pocket. You've had a play, and you've got some questions. So this is your chance, really, to talk to Alex as well. So. Firstly, though, before we get into that, the lifetime deal, as far as I know, the lifetime deal is still currently running. So I might as well just
That's
get
right.
this out the way.
Yeah,
You could even buy it whilst you're watching it, go and install it
right.
in Playground or something, and then come back and ask some questions. So there is a QR code there. We can share the URL later, but it's not that difficult. You could probably Google Siren Affiliates at this point. But if you've got a camera out and you want to just QR that, you can do it, and you'll get yourself a lifetime deal, which I think is kind of selling out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
okay,
I'm selling 100 of them in total, and I think I have less than 15 left at this point. So
okay,
it's
rush,
been
go,
yeah.
go, everybody.
So I've been going through them pretty quick.
Oh,
After
nice.
that, I'm still going to do an annual, but I'm taking down the lifetime uh,
Okay,
pretty much indefinitely. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to do it again. Maybe someday, but
okay.
this is a
Well,
pretty special thing.
you
So
got you
for me,
got there's maybe like 15 or so left. That's brilliant.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
want to just say the URL in case the QR is not working? Where are we
Yeah,
at?
sure. Sure. So you can just go to sirenaffiliates.com. It won't be hard to find a button to get to the checkout screen. Trust me, they're everywhere. That's probably the easiest way to describe it without text.
Yeah, that's fine. So sirenaffiliates.com, go check it out. I'll take that off the screen. So yeah, that's the reason we're here today. We maybe top out on an hour, something like that. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping, a little bit boring, I'm afraid, but we've got to do it. That is to say that if you want to make a comment, there really is only one place to do that, and that's on our website. So go to wpbuilds.com/live. And it's really just because the platforms more and more are kind of locking down the ability to get comments out of their system. So, for example, if you're watching this on Twitter, which you may be, if you put a comment there, it'll just be stuck in Twitter. We won't see it. The same in Facebook, we won't see it. So, and LinkedIn, exactly the same. So head to wpbuilds.com/live. And on the right, if you're on a desktop, on the right of the video player is a YouTube comments chat box. So you need to be logged into Google for that. But we've got to back up if you don't like Google and you don't have a Google account. Inside the player itself, right at the top, actually, where the other top, where the logo WP Builds is in the top right hand corner, should be a button labeled Live Chat. And if you click that, you don't need to be logged into anything. You just type in your name and what have you. And so I'm going to be saying that repeatedly during this podcast, but just go there, make a comment, and then you've got a chance of getting in front of Alex and what have you. And it looks like, that's nice. A few people have already made the effort to do that. So Cameron Jones coming to us from, I love all this. This is so fun. Coming from Australia, Cameron regularly joins us on our Monday show. We do that this week in WordPress. And then Armando. Hi, Armando. Nice to make your acquaintance. He's excited to be here. Cheers, Alex. Sam White. Well done for the launch, Alex, she says. That's really nice.
Thanks, Sam.
And taps her pocket with the plug-in. Oh, nice. Don't walk, people, she says. So keep those comments coming. Honestly, if you just got something like Sam to say, just drop it in. If I think it's worthy, I'll put it on the screen, but would appreciate it anyway. But if you've got a question, that would also make quite interesting
Mhm.
entertainment, for want of a better word, at the end of the show. So I feel I've done a bad job of letting you introduce yourself, Alex. So can we just have the elevator pitch bio? Who are you, and what have you been up to these many years?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Alex Staniford. I've been a WordPress developer since like 2015. I've been a WordPress user since 2009. And my first foray into WordPress was actually a DVD montage business that I built. And I always chuckle when I say it out loud because I realize like how old that makes me sound. But
Yeah.
um, but I was, even at that time, I was actually creating partnerships with photographers. So like, just to promote and have them basically resell my montages. So like, even at that time, I was thinking about affiliate programs and partnership programs and things like that. Since then, I've ran an agency where I was doing a lot of partnership programs like this as well. And then on top of that, I also worked for Sandhills Development, and I worked on I worked on Affiliate WP for a little while as one of their developers. I left it several years ago, but I had worked on that plugin and I used both as a user and as a developer. So I've got a lot of experience in this specific kind of facet of e-commerce and WordPress in general.
Nice, nice, nice. Always good to get the backstory, especially when it really relates to what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So, Alex and I have been talking about this back and forward in our little, back channels. I don't know how we managed to do that, but we do. And this product, I think, has been a long time in the making. You've
Yes.
poured your heart and soul into it. I think it's taken you a little bit longer to build than you anticipate. I don't know if that's because you got like scope creep on yourself or something, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Little
yeah. Want
bit.
this? Okay, I'll build it. But it's ready. It's out the gate. It's ready to
Yeah.
launch, and so we're going to show you that. Now, really, the way this is going to work is Alex is going to sort of take over the screen. He's going to instruct me if he wants me to show one view or another view. So I'll try to do that. But I'll kind of get out of the way. I'll keep an eye on the comments for y'all. And if you've got anything worth saying, then I'll try to put it on the screen. I'll try not to interrupt too much. But Alex, where do you want to begin? Dashboard or customer?
You know what? Let's just stay here for a second, and then I'll switch over because I kind of just have a little bit of an intro.
Okay, lovely.
So yeah, we'll talk about it. Talk a little bit about the difference and stuff like that, and what I'm going to actually present, and then we can switch over to the screen after
Lovely.
that. Okay. So really, for me, the key difference with Siren versus other plugins or other solutions is that it doesn't use a single affiliate program to describe your online partnerships. Instead, it allows you to create multiple programs, each one with their own set of rules and their reward amounts. So multiple programs can trigger rewards for many collaborators at one time, or they can be grouped together so that only one program is chosen for a reward. The idea there is that it gives you like a lot of extra flexibility that you don't really see in other programs. So like, for example, in the example that I'm going to present today, we're going to create a program that's lead focused, and then we're going to create another program that's conversion focused. In other words, so one is focused on generating traffic to the site, and another one is focused on converting those people from just traffic from tire kickers to actual sales. So the lead program is going to reward the affiliates for driving traffic to the site, and then the conversion program is actually going to reward affiliates for making actual conversions with a coupon code.
Nice.
Yeah. So the idea there is it creates a way for your affiliates to be able to work together organically, where lead-focused affiliates are driving results early in the customer's journey, and the conversion-focused affiliates are converting those sales when the customer is actually ready to make the buy. So I chose this use case because I think it really helps illustrate how multiple programs in Siren allows you to create more effective partnerships online, particularly if you're selling really expensive, high-touch things that are otherwise difficult to sell. In fact, this is basically the dream program I wanted to have that I couldn't get whenever I was running my own agency. I wanted to run an affiliate program, and I wanted to have a way to be able to convert people when they're selling these really expensive, thousands of dollar custom website builds, but I didn't have a great way to actually convert those people because affiliate programs are always geared for that impulse buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that, this approach allows me to create that lead focused one where the conversion is actually just getting to the site and getting eyes on your offering first. And then the conversion focused one is more like can work a little bit more like a traditional sales program where the person's actually, maybe they're doing webinars, maybe they're doing, one-on-one sales calls or podcasts or other things that are more focused on like really making a pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think this approach kind of does a better job of recognizing that journey that's longer, especially for these bigger sales. But to be honest, Siren's going to be running an affiliate program as well, and I'm literally just going to use this program for that as well because I think it's a really great way to be able to recognize podcasters and YouTubers who don't always get the conversion, but tends to be the first person that people that bring in the traffic and bring in the leads. And I think it just creates a more fair and interesting way to be able to reward those people without necessarily forcing them to like be salesy.
That's really interesting. So we're used to that sort of
Yeah.
model of you've got to do the purchase, but you're offering options to have a whole different range of things, which are the primary goal. Okay,
Yeah.
this is going to be
Yep. And
fun.
then ultimately, no matter what, nobody gets paid until, I mean, in my case, in the way we're building this, nobody gets paid unless the customer actually buys something. So even
Hmm.
the lead focused program isn't going to actually, you're not giving them money for a site visit. You're giving them money for a site visit that later turns into a sale. So it's really a more like the lead program is pretty much just what you imagine what a normal affiliate program is. It's a little different, and I'll get into that in a minute. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the idea there.
Okie doke.
Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to the dashboard.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so what I have set up here is a basic WooCommerce site with Siren installed. I've already set up a few collaborators on the site who are signed up. And just for context, collaborators and Siren are actually what most people think of as affiliates. So I'm probably going to be saying both of those terms throughout this, just because my marketing speak and my technical speak are kind of melded into a very confusing goo. But just know if I say collaborators, I mean affiliates. So I have a few collaborators that are preset in this, as well as a lead generation program that's already built. We're going to actually build the conversion focused one together. And I'm also going to set up and run through a couple scenarios with the two programs. Finally, we also have a couple of obligations that we have to pay out, which are basically just rewards for customers. So you can see here, Brad and Amy have already received a few referrals, in other words, right? So I'm obligated to pay these people this money because they've already, actually generated some sales. And you can see here, I'll click over just to show you the collaborators that we have right now. I have 3 of them. I have Brad, Amy, and Steve. And you can see Amy is currently on the lead generator program, but Brad and Steve are not. And we're gonna update that in a second. And then finally, if I go to programs, you'll see we have one program right now called the lead generator program. Okay, so we're actually going to click on this lead generator program and take a look at what's going on under the hood here. So the lead generator program, again, it rewards affiliates, it rewards our collaborators with an affiliate link. So if I scroll down here, you'll see there's an expiration time here set in days. And basically what that is the expiration time defines how long before you consider this lead to be invalid. So if a person visits this site and within 60 days makes a purchase, the affiliate who referred them would get credited for the sale. If I change this to 5 days, that means that they only have 5 days to actually get credit for the sale. Otherwise, they don't get the credit. So this allows you to kind of set some limitations on how, like how long you want your sales cycle to be or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like for the lead generation program, I'm setting a 60-day window because I want to give them plenty of time to be able to kind of work with them, because I'm expecting the lead generators to have kind of multiple touch points over a period of time. And I want to give them plenty of time to be able to give the people the information they need, let that customer go through the journey and still give them the credit. So the next thing here is a program structure. And basically what this means is it defines the rules that determine which affiliate gets credit for a sale. So in some cases, this also applies to multiple affiliates. So you can actually do like a shared engagement pool or a performance weighted pool. And they're a little more advanced, and they're kind of out of the scope of this webinar, but you can totally set this up to where you're dividing a referral among multiple people if you wanted to do that. This is mostly, the use cases for this is more along the lines of like an LMS, a Lifter, like Lifter or LearnDash or something like that, where you have like multiple creators creating content and you want to give them like a percentage of profits or something like that. But in our case, we're just going to use oldest engagement wins. And basically what that does is it makes it so that the first person who visits the site, the first referral, right? The first affiliate who gets credit for this visitor will be the one who gets rewarded. So it's the oldest engagement, the first engagement. You'll see later, whenever we do the sales focused one, it's actually going to be the newest engagement because it's the opposite. We want to pay the last person to talk to them.
Right.
So,
right.
So when we have two programs here, we're going to be paying the first person who introduced them and the last person who talked to the customer before they made the sale. Top score wins. It's this. So if I'll get to that in a minute. We're just
okay.
We'll talk about that. Yeah,
that's fine.
I don't want to get too thick into the weeds here. So, and then engagement. So then from there we have engagement tracking events, and basically what this does is it defines what actions an affiliate must take in order to be credited for the purchase. So in this case, we're going to credit the affiliate if they get somebody to visit the site with an affiliate link, or if somebody uses their coupon code at checkout. So either one of these will give them credit. So basically what this program is saying is reward the first collaborator, that's oldest engagement wins, whenever they successfully manage to get somebody to visit their site, your site, with an affiliate link, or if they use a coupon code before they actually make the purchase. And then finally, we have the incentive structure. And basically what this does is it defines how much and how you're going to pay for the transaction itself, right? So in this case, there's fixed per product, where you pay like $1 for everything that's in the cart or whatever. Fixed per transaction, which is, a fixed price for every time somebody makes a sale. And then percentage of transaction, which we're using here, which pays out a percentage of the total of the transaction. I like percentage of transaction for pretty much everything by default. I think it scales well, right? The amount of money that you pay is relative to the amount of money you made. It motivates collaborators to sell big ticket items. It motivates them to sell more things. And it's also really easy to budget for, right? Because you just assume that you're not making that 10% for these sales, and you can kind of account for that.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
You'll also notice right here, credit conversions for sales, renewals, and then there's this auto approve option. So these two checkboxes here, sales and renewals, basically what this is saying is we're going to give you credit every time you make a sale, but we're not going to give you credit if there's a renewal. So in some cases, maybe you're using a subscription, right? Or something like that, where there's a recurring revenue. You can set up your program so that it pays people on a recurring basis or not. And there's a pretty neat little trick with this related to multiple programs that I'll get into in a little bit. So yeah, that's how the lead generator program is set up. We're going to go in and create a conversion program. But before I do that, I want to stop and just make sure, are there any questions or anything that I need to answer so far?
No, there's no questions that have come in on the chat, but I do have a question, and it was that when you were back you were creating the conditions there, and you said you said or between those two engagement tracking events. So that's an or, that's not an and. It's not like you have to visit the site and use a coupon code. It's actually, in that sense, they both satisfy, I'm sure, at the same time. But it's an or condition.
That's right. If any of these things happen.
Okay.
Right. And what's interesting here, now that you bring it up, is as this plugin is developed, I'm going to be creating all kinds of different events that you can trigger. And you'll be able to set it up, and you'll see this value here. I didn't really get into that too much.
I was wondering. I just thought that was binary 1, 0, but there's more to it.
It's a generic. I have a bug report to make this more clear, but the idea is basically, so performance weighted pool and top score wins, they use this value to be able to figure out how much they should pay out. So maybe you have a site visited is only worth 1 point, and maybe a coupon code is worth 10 points.
Oh, okay, neat.
So you can figure out, well, the top score, because the coupon code was used, 10 points, they get it, right? Right. That's really useful for performance weighted pool and stuff like that. And it'll come into play a lot more as I create more engagement events. For example, like again, with the LearnDash Lifter LMS use case, maybe an engagement tracking event is every time a person completes a lesson on a course, right? So maybe you credit the course creator every time they, actually like get somebody to do a step in the course, and you give them points based on how much engagement they're getting out of the premium subscribers for this site. And then at the end of the month, you can take the point totals for everybody and divide up how much you pay out to everybody based on their performance that month.
Oh
So like,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that's what I mean whenever I say like affiliate programs are just the beginning. Like this is just the initial, easiest, most well-known use case that I can think of. But we are really on the tip of the iceberg for what this thing's going to be able to do in coming months.
Like a full engagement program. If you've got a bunch of people in your LMS and 3 of them are just on fire, interested, making the platform kind of more usable for everybody else, commenting and things, you can incentivize their collaboration, if you like, their interest in there. So we don't have a question, but we've got just a couple of nice comments. They're both coming from Armando, who says, glad it supports renewals.
Oh, yeah.
As in an opt-in, opt-out. Yeah, I think the intuition is that, you can go whichever way you like there, but some people, you make that one sale at the beginning and that's the way it ends. And then points idea, like in that, weighting things in certain ways. And then Graham, hi Graham, I don't know if this is a question or not. He said, excited to see the launch, Alex. I'd love to have a discussion with you about how this could integrate with Body Boss. Okay. So there's some homework for you.
Right.
After this. So
send
Graham,
me a message. We'll talk.
Yeah. Thanks, Graham. Appreciate that. That's brilliant. Okay. Let's carry on.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and create that conversion focused program now. So I'm going to click on add new, and I'm going to probably move through this a little bit quicker just because, I want to make sure that I'm respectful of everybody's time.
That's okay, but you're in the same menu as you were in a moment ago. So we've seen this, right? Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. You can be as quick as you like in that case. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. So this time, though, the only difference is we're going to set this up for a 3-day expiration, maybe a 5. So you're going to give people in the sales program 5 days to be able to actually make this sale. And what's interesting is I'm going to actually put all of my collaborators in both programs. So you can set it up to where if you create the referral for somebody and you sell that person the product in a 5-day window, you're going to get both of these referrals for both of these programs. So you can earn a higher percentage. So remember, the lead generation program was only 10%. We're going to actually make this one 15%.
Oh, wait, you're stacking the rewards as well.
Yeah, you can stack the rewards.
Nice,
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. So now you can set it up so now you're able to incentivize people to generate leads, but you're also able to incentivize them to generate leads and then give them, you can almost think of this like a bonus for some people where it's like, I'm going to pay you another 15% if you get this person to convert in 5 days. So I'm going to set newest engagement wins.
Yep.
And we're going to use the same 2 things, right? Site visited and coupon code used. We're going to leave that a percentage, and we're going to credit sales, and we're going to auto approve completed transactions. This basically just makes it so that the obligations that come through are automatically approved once the sale is done. Okay. You don't have to set that. You can manually do that if you want. But all right, so now we have 2 programs. We're going to go over to our collaborators, and I'm actually going to add Amy and Brad. We're going to add them both to the lead generator program. And then we're going to also go ahead and add them to the conversion program. So both Amy and Brad are on both lead gen and conversion, but Steve is not. He's not on any programs right now. Okay, so now that we've added them, oh crap, I forgot. I wanted to mention, we could also, back on the programs here, if we wanted, we could actually set this up. Remember, because these things stack, we could create a 3rd program optionally for the related that's identical to the conversion program, where you could set it up to where it pays 5% instead of 15, and the conversion program pays 10. So there's 3 programs now. There's a 10, a 10, and a 5, totaling out to that 25% max. But you can make it to where the conversion program is split, where there's a 10% and a 5%, and the same affiliate would get both of them every time, but you can make the 5% recurring. So you can make it to where they get like a
Oh,
25% sign-on bonus.
yeah.
And then after that, they're able to get like a 5% recurring revenue if you don't want to pay that full 15% on a recurring basis.
I was struggling to keep up with you, and then the penny
Yeah.
dropped. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so let's say that you offer, oh, I don't know, let's pick a number. Let's say I don't know, 40% in total, but
Yeah.
10% will be the recurring portion, 30% will be that first hit. So you'll get
Yep.
something. There's an incentive to keep that going over. That is clever.
Yes. Yeah. So this is what I mean whenever I keep saying the multi-program approach really changes how you can manage affiliates, because it's not just a single monolithic program where you have to, like, on a case by case basis create all these settings, like all the competing solutions that I'm seeing, they have all these extensions to create specific programs. But what I've built here is a system that allows you to build programs in a much more nuanced and dynamic way.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, of course we can do that program that you have to pay for extra money for with an extension, right? Because you just build a couple of programs and you put them together and you're able to create that.
This is neat.
Yeah. So all right, cool. So that's
There is a question now. Cameron's
yeah,
just
go
popped one
ahead.
up, and it felt like a natural pause there. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
just
great.
yeah,
Let's do
great.
it.
So here we go. I'm sure you'll get to it, but I'm curious to know how much is automated versus how much needs manual reporting, like if conversions happen off-site. Now, if that's going to derail the presentation, Alex, we'll come to that at the end.
Conversions happen off site. What do you mean? I'm sorry, I don't understand
Yeah,
the
I'm not
question.
sure either. Cameron, can we get more clarification on that question if you don't mind? Yeah, I'll sync that comment for now. But Cameron, when you
Sure.
come back to us, we'll raise that one a bit later.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. If I have time, I'm going to get into the fulfillment process and the payouts. So that's definitely going to be a part of it. That might actually answer Cameron's question.
okay,
Okay. So another thing is, so we've talked a little bit about how programs stack, right? You can see how the multi-program approach works, right? Multiple collaborators are able to receive rewards from a single transaction. But what about cases where you don't want more than one program, like both programs to apply? So, like, say, for example, you offered some of your partners a variation of the lead generation program, right? Maybe in this variation, you offered different terms than what you offered to the general public, right? So maybe they get a different rate. Maybe they get the recurring revenue or something like that. In those cases, you probably wouldn't run a reward both lead programs, right? You don't want those to stack. You only want one of them to stack. You want to basically treat them as a single program. Most solutions out there, they would solve this by putting the rate on the affiliate, right? So you would go to that affiliate, you would give them a special rate or something like that. But I found that that's a real pain in the butt to maintain because it's buried inside of the affiliate settings. And like, there's this game that you end up playing where you're like, I wonder what this affiliate's getting paid because I've got all these different programs that are like loosely created based on their special rates. And it becomes a mess. So, but that being said, I wanted to be able to make sure that not all programs stack. So to solve that, I created something called program groups. Basically, what this does is it allows you to group multiple programs together and say, only reward one of these programs. Don't reward both of them. Only pay out for one of these programs whenever an engagement happens. So if you go into here and you create a new program group, we'll call this the lead generators. And then we can set, let's see. And then we can set this to oldest engagement wins, right? Because it's the first one. And then tick the lead generator program. And then later on, if we wanted to create another program, another lead generator program specifically for.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're separating out, and at the end of that flow a minute ago, you pick one of the boxes, and if you pick both, it would have been for both. You can make
That's
one
right.
for right. I got it now. So in,
Yep.
in this
And
case,
actually,
sorry, go on.
That's okay, no worries. So in this case, I'm actually creating the lead gen program, and I can actually set that group in here. You could also have done it like you were saying on the creation step too.
Yep.
So maybe, and then this is just a completely different program, right? The rules can apply however I want. It can be completely different from the other one. The only thing that matters is that the oldest engagement out of all of the programs is going to be the one that picks which program wins, and that was dictated by the group. So I know I'm moving a little fast here. I'm just trying to
it's
like
okay. We've seen this. We get
show.
it now. We're all
Yeah.
good.
So percentage of transaction, and maybe this is a 15% instead of 10, and maybe you're paying them renewals on top of that, right? So, okay. So now we have both of these lead generators are in a single group. So only one of those two programs are actually going to win. So let's go ahead and scroll up here. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out where I'm at.
All right, take your time. We're not in a rush.
Right. Okay, so we've set up the conversion program. We've set up the lead gen program. We've set up the lead gen group. And I think the next thing to do is really of course. And then finally, we need to set up coupon codes, right? So I've already set one up for Amy. But I'm going to set one up for Brad real quick. And this actually happens in WooCommerce inside of the coupon screen. So if I go to marketing,
so you're binding it to WooCommerce in this scenario. Got it.
in this, yeah. I try not to do this as much as I can. I don't want to bind to specific integrations. My goal is to try to make this as separate as possible, but this is one of those cases where I just don't have a good way to do it. So you can see Amy already has a coupon here called Amy Rocks. We're going to create a coupon for Brad Wellington called Doing Well. And we're going to give him a $5 discount. We're going to assign it to Brad Wellington. We're going to hit publish. And that's it. So now the coupon code is associated with Brad. So whenever the checkout happens, if they use that coupon, he's going to get credit. Okay, so the final thing I want to do is I'm actually going to add Steve to that special lead generation program we created earlier, right? So now Steve is on the special lead generation program, and Amy and Brad are both on the regular one. So what's going to happen is the first one of these three is going to be the person who gets paid out. Now, Steve is going to get paid a higher percentage because he's on the special program, whereas Amy and Brad are on the regular program. So if Steve happens to be the one who creates the initial visit for the site, Steve's going to be the one to get credit. He's going to get the 15%, but the other lead generator program here won't apply for Amy or Brad.
Got it.
Okay. So let's go ahead and try to make a purchase. So if you want to switch over to the site. Okay, I'm switched over.
Yep, I'm switched over too. Yep.
Good. Okay, cool. So we're going to visit the site. We're going to do. I just happen to know the coupon code or I have how the affiliate link looks memorized in my head, but the collaborators have access to their own code inside of their dashboard. I don't think I'm going to have time to get into that.
No, that's fine. But they get a code somewhere.
They get a code, yeah right.
And
also that code is customizable, so they can change it. So like it says Amy, Well, and Steve is just 3 random characters whenever it was created.
So it's not just some sort of random pseudo-random noise thing. You can make it WP builds or whatever you want. Yeah.
Right. And what's cool is it generates one randomly, but if they ever want to change it later, they can. And all of the old versions of their ID still works.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah,
you don't have to go hunting around for
none of that crap. Yeah, no, yeah. It just works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to say, let me make sure I do this right. So I want to think this through. So we're going to do, we're going to have somebody visit the site as Amy first, right? And then after that, I'm going to have them visit as Steve, just to show you that Amy wins instead of Steve.
So what we're imagining here, just so that it's clear in my head,
sure.
Amy, through whatever system she's got, has encouraged somebody to click on that link, and her Amy referral link, which you just appended at the end of the URL, that would come from an email newsletter or whatever she's doing.
Right. That's
so
right.
She's landing on the site and she's about to get some kind of referral. Right. Okay.
Well, the customer is.
Yeah.
So the customer's from her link. Yes.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
No worries. And then Steve is going to basically do the same thing, right? So I'm going to now have the visit. So maybe they clicked on the site with Amy, and then like 2 weeks or so later, they're watching Steve's content, and they visit the site as Steve, right?
Oh,
Or
and
under
again,
with
just to be
Steve.
clear, you're using two separate browsers here. The Amy one was done in a different browser, and the Steve one's done in a different. No, same browser.
Nope, same session.
Interesting. Okay.
In this case, so in this case, both Steve and Amy have been credited with this visit, but they've not been rewarded with an like a payout or anything like that yet because nobody's actually bought anything.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. What's gonna? Yeah, no worries. Whenever it's actually purchased, though, Amy's going to get credit because she was the first person to drive the traffic, right?
Right. So you did Amy first, and then a moment or two later, Steve went in. So we now, okay, got it. Okay, right. Yeah, it's all adding up.
And because the lead generator and the special lead gen program are both in a group, only one of them are going to pay out. So only Amy is going to get this credit this time.
Okay.
And then if we go to the shop, we're going to go ahead and, for the 10,000th time in my life, buy a beanie and a belt.
I wonder how many times you've done this.
My gosh, yeah. We're going to go to the cart. I'm going to add a coupon. And we're going to add doing well.
All right, I remember that. Yep.
And that, if you remember, that was your boy Brad Wellington's coupon code. We're going to proceed to checkout. And I'm going to test. Look at all the tests. I don't know if you can see the pop-up.
Test all the way down.
It's such is life.
Yeah, it's okay.
I would pay for a WordPress plugin that just automatically...
I bet there's a browser. I bet there's
like a browser extension or something. Yeah. All right, so we're going to place the order. All right, cool. So the order went through. Now I'm just using so if we go back over to the dashboard,
1 second.
The way I set up,
we're back.
The way I set up WooCommerce in this case, it's just using the check payouts for testing purposes. So, so the purchase went through, but it's on hold. Obligations don't actually get created until this is marked as complete. As soon as you mark this as complete, it's going to trigger and it's going to create those obligations.
So the obligations are the payouts,
the rewards,
the rewards.
The rewards, right?
Got it. Got it.
So I'm going to go over to. So now that I've completed that, I'm going to go over to the obligations, and you're going to see there's actually going to be more than you might expect here because I had already done some earlier today. But you'll see that where'd it go? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. So you'll see the Amy Rockwell. Oh, you know what? For some reason, Steve didn't get the credit. I wonder if I did something wrong in the setup there. I know this worked earlier.
This is, you know what, Alex? If you'd have got through this without something going wrong, it would have been a miracle.
You know what? I told my wife when I was like, something's going to go wrong. And she told me, she said, it's okay. When it does, you just look at the screen and you go, we're professionals. So, here we are.
No, I get it. Like you did you had a pyramid of things you had to do to get that out. Right. And I don't think anybody here is going to think this isn't working. It's just, there was something in the steps up to it.
Maybe I had a typo, who knows?
Yeah.
But either way, both Brad and Amy got credit for that sale. And you can see that here. So if we actually go to, okay. So that's how that works. And you can see that these are all marked as pending because they're pending payout. They're waiting to be paid, right? So what we can do from here is we can actually pay out these affiliates. And in order to do that, you can do it in a couple different ways. One, you can select individual ones that you want to pay and click create fulfillment. And then it'll actually create a fulfillment specifically for those records. Or you can just click create fulfillments from pending. And basically, with Siren, I wanted to think a little bit more about how the payout process works because I realized that there's an extra step that a lot of solutions aren't really doing well. And that was this whole payout experience.
Oh, this can be horrible.
Yes.
You'll be there for
So
spreadsheets and
yeah,
calculator on the
well,
desk. Yeah.
and it's all, yeah. So you click create fulfillments from pending, and basically it's just going to grab all these pending obligations here.
Uh-huh.
It's going to tally them up and it's going to group them together and tell you how much you owe and which obligations it's going to mark as complete. So you would do this like once a month or however often you actually pay your collaborators, right? So we're going to click generate fulfillments. And what's going to happen is it's going to tally up for each collaborator how much you owe them and in whatever currency you're paying them in, and create a fulfillment for each currency for each collaborator as well. In my case, I'm only using US dollars. In almost all cases, it's going to be a single currency, but I wanted to be able to cover cases like store credit or other things like that. And this will allow you to do that.
Okay, that's neat.
So you'll see that the fulfillment was created. So if I click on this fulfillment, you'll see it slurped them up into two records, one for Amy and one for Brad. And you can see how much money I owe Amy and how much money I owe Brad. And then you can have multiple fulfillments that are set up, right? So if there was a different so maybe and the reason for that is so that each month you have a trail, a record of like where you paid, when you paid, and all of that stuff. So you would, in the fulfillment screen, have multiple fulfillments down here. You'll see how many you haven't paid yet and how many you have paid, et cetera, et cetera. If you're doing this manually, obviously you can pay out these individual people. You can tick the box and mark them as paid manually. Mm-hmm. You can mark them as unpaid. You can basically, this is a way for you to be able to keep track of who you actually owe, what you actually owe them, and all of that stuff over time. It's completely separate from the obligations and all of that. So let's go ahead and click fulfill payouts. And at the moment, the only way to do this is by exporting a CSV. But as a person who's going to be using Siren, believe me when I say I am very motivated to automate this.
Yeah,
so
nice.
it's pretty high on my list. I already have a couple of different ideas on how to implement it. But you click download CSV and fulfill items. And basically what it's going to do is download the CSV and mark all of those payouts as paid. So there we go. I got my fulfillments there. So if I go back to my fulfillments and I click on this, you'll see that it marked both of them as paid. And I can't open that CSV because of the way we're set up with this live stream. But basically, it's just a spreadsheet, right? With the data that you need to be able to import it. But yeah, I marked them as paid. So now from there, you can then go into your payment processor, use the CSV to, pay the affiliates in whatever way you want. But what's really cool about this to me is since it's separate from obligations, if something goes wrong, let's say maybe I'm able to pay Brad, like after I've exported this, I've gone to the bank, I paid Brad, no problem. Let's say maybe something went wrong when I was trying to pay Amy, right? I can come back here and I can mark this as unpaid. And it just basically undoes that. So now I know, okay, I still owe Amy this money.
So she comes out on the next CSV. Got it.
Right. Yeah. And then if I did it again, she would exactly come out in the CSV next time. So this allows you to keep track of who you owe above and beyond just like a one-step process. Like that's the thing that drove me crazy about other solutions is that it was always a one-step process. You click this button and you do it, and then you have to manage any of those problems outside of this system completely. And it feels unfinished to me. It feels like, okay, we created the referrals. Here's the CSV. Good luck. So I wanted to make sure that there was a way to actually like take care of this step of the process as well.
Yeah, so you can, if you haven't got enough funds or whatever it may be, you come back, you mark somebody as incomplete, and you just, use that CSV, then trash that one, then start again. Got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So that's the bulk of the demo that I really wanted to show. I mean, that's it. I don't really have anything else I really wanted to show. I wanted to drive home how the multiple programs worked, and I felt that was by far the most important thing to talk about here. So
yeah, so I think that's the thing that I'm taking away from it is that you can stack like so many different things. I mean,
Yeah.
you've showed just a couple, but I can imagine if you got creative, and I bet your community, your recent purchases are going to start to get interesting and creative and fill your email inbox with ideas of, can we go
Yeah.
this way, please? And that'll be interesting. But the idea that you can, it doesn't have to be just one click, one size fits all. You can have a variety of different things. You can weight things differently, and the grouping thing allows you to pay out in different ways as well. And yeah, it's
Hmm.
neat.
Yeah.
um okay, so we do have a couple of things coming in, so we'll
Sure.
clarify Cameron's question first. So here we go. So this was the beginning bit that got us confused. So Cameron said, I'm sure you'll get to it, but I'm curious to know how much is automated versus how much needs manual reporting. Then he followed up with a new website build, for example, that sort of things that wouldn't normally be purchased through
Yeah.
e-commerce. Does that help you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, at the moment, I don't have a way to manually create obligations. Um, and there's literally no reason for that other than I just didn't think that it was necessary. But I got to be honest, I've had a few people ask me about it since launch. So yeah, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I guess in my case, whenever I was thinking about the agency scenario where you're creating custom things, I was imagining that you would do a like an e-commerce, like a WooCommerce checkout process or something like that, with because there's extensions that exist with different e-commerce platforms, even just a forms plugin with a payment processor, where you can get some of those details that you need to be able to start figuring out the calculation, and then that would create the reward. And you can, I can't remember if you can edit them. No, you can't. Um, but yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a need to be able to go in and manually adjust and create obligations on the fly. Yeah, that's definitely on my radar.
So this isn't a question from anybody else, but this just occurs to me at this point. It's probably worth saying at this point. So Alex, this is brand new, right? Anybody
Yeah,
watching this, you are literally in like day 3 or something like
yeah,
that of this
yeah,
product. So how open are you to suggestions like that? Like realistically, not wishing to get you to overpromise or anything. Is
yeah,
this fast becoming what Alex does? Are you thinking that this is going to consume quite a lot of your time? And suggestions are welcome. We'll get a
yeah.
roadmap going, all that.
I have a roadmap already. I just have no idea how to prioritize it. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be using the customer's feedback and what's important to them, what's important to me in the moment, to be able to figure that out. But yeah, I honestly, my goal is to make this the latter half of my career. Is building this plugin, creating this platform, and really redefining what it means to create a partnership online. Like, I think that there's so many better ways we can do it, and it just drives me crazy that it's seen as like sleazy and snake oil salesman-y and all this stuff. And I want to show the world that you can do this without being that, and give them a tool to let them do it.
Okay, great. I'm going to take the screen off just for a moment
Sure,
because,
that's
but
fine.
I will
I
I
think
will bring
I'm
it. Yeah, I'll bring it back
uh,
if something comes up that needs that.
sure.
We've got a few more minutes, maybe 5-6 more minutes, so we'll get through what we can.
Yeah.
So Lovelace Creative. First of all, hello. Trying to figure out how I could use this for my photography business. Lots of manual closing leads versus automatic, since it needs to be a much more personalized sale. So yeah, less online, more
Mhm.
real world, I guess. How do we cope with that?
So I actually have a link. I have a blog post on Siren's site called "How to Sell Expensive Things Online," and there's also one that's like a 1,400 or so word blog post that I wrote as a blueprint for web agencies on how to do this. But really, it can apply to any agency that's doing white glove service, like what you're talking about. The key things are, one, to give your collaborators, your affiliates, something to sell. So maybe you're selling prepackaged, lower cost things that they can sell. And then the custom things, um, you can use those opportunities to lead into higher priced custom offerings and things like that. And then to Cameron's point earlier, if you're able, once I set it up to where obligations can actually be changed, you could actually create a lead form, right, where somebody fills out a form, and maybe they submit like a deposit to be able to like start working with you or something like that with a scope. And but the sales process at that point, the sales team would be a little more hands on. So having them separated like that kind of helps. It just depends on how you want to approach it. If you want to have people who are like directly contacting and working with your customers to help define that stuff, you could do that. You could also not do that and just focus on selling the lower price stuff and use that as a way to jump into selling the higher price stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next one, I don't know when this came in, but it's Armando was just saying good one. I can't remember, but I tried to remember and then it's gone. But anyway, good one. There was a moment where he
Crushed it.
thought that was great. I like that. Okay, Blaine. By the way, keep the questions coming. We've probably got a couple more minutes. wpbuilds.com/live. Go there. Use the comments. Right, Blaine. Is this going to this is interesting. Is this going to be WooCommerce only, or will you integrate with other shopping carts in the future? And there's a couple of SaaS ones mentioned: SureCart, ThriveCart, etc.
So my at launch, I offered WooCommerce specifically, just because it was the best option that I had based on my knowledge and my network. I am very interested in doing more integrations with other plugins and other things. And in fact, my entire pre-launch flow, whenever you signed up for the site, I set it up to where people could actually suggest what integrations they were interested in, just so that I could get a feel for what people want to see. So yeah, in fact, the initial use case for this wasn't even for WooCommerce. It was actually for LMS-based solutions, specifically Lifter. So yeah, I'm very keen on doing a lot of integrations in the future. Like that's pretty high on my list of things to do.
So WordPress plugins, you mentioned there, Lifter and so on, but also it's not out of the bounds of possibility to go outside of that and get involved with
Oh
SaaS
yeah,
platforms like Thrivecart.
Shopify
Yeah, I've
even.
got
I mean,
experience with Thrivecart, and it's such a nice experience when you
yeah,
as the person selling through Thrivecart. It is pretty neat. I got to say, I like it. Okay, so another one from Blaine. Thank you, Blaine. Will this be able to set up non-monetary compensation? So what, like gift cards, or I don't
right.
what does that even mean? That's brilliant.
So yeah, it can. So right now it doesn't have a way, there's not a comprehensive way to do it through the interface. You have to have a little code snippet to be able to register a custom currency. But yeah, programs can pay in any currency that you want to. And if you wanted to if you wanted to pay in high fives, you just got to register that currency and, pay out those high fives. But it could be, a better example, of course, would be store credit. That's a common use
Well, there
case
you
that I'm
go.
seeing for that.
There's Blaine right in there, just saying exactly what you said.
Yeah,
Credit for future purchases and so on. Okay, so again, get into Alex. Tell him what you want as your feedback, and so this is in reply to. Oh no, wrong one. Lovelace is just saying thank you to the reply that you gave about photography websites a moment ago. That's
pleasure.
great. Right, okay. Blaine's on fire.
Love it.
Blaine needs some sort of affiliate system to reward him for the amount of comments he's made on this platform. That'd be nice. As a follow-up, can conversions be tracked that aren't necessarily a sale, such as paying for a lead to sign up for a newsletter?
That's where the other integrations come in. So whenever I set up a forms, I'm going to be doing a forms plugin integration, right? And obviously that's going to allow you to create a better sign up form for your collaborators. There is a sign up form that's built into the system. I didn't have time to show that today, but if you wanted to create a more robust one, you could do that. But on top of that, if you wanted to create a lead form and actually give people credit whenever that form is submitted, then yeah, that's the whole reason why those engagement tracking events, all those different check boxes with the affiliate link and all that stuff. That's what I was saying earlier. There's going to be so many that are going to be available in that based on what integration you're using, based on what integrations you have and what are compatible with that. So yeah, I mean, a lead generation form is a great example of something that could not only be something that you pay somebody for, but it could also be something that you create as a referral. So maybe instead of giving credit for whenever the person visits the site, maybe you give them credit for filling out a specific form, right? So there's there's all kinds of different ways to integrate with Forms plugins and different integrations. And that's kind of why I had to launch with just WooCommerce, because if I didn't, it would be 2030 and I'd still be building this.
Yeah, we're not short of form plugin solutions. Speaking of which, Blaine's already getting on the roadmap. He says his suggestion would be Fluent Forms, a popular forms like plugin solution.
I got to talk to them.
Yeah,
I think I've had about a dozen people tell me I want Fluent Forms and Fluent CRM. So
yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, CRM. Yeah, okay, that'd be interesting. So, brilliant. So again, Blaine, fake currency. He likes that idea. I think that's good. And we'll probably round off on this one, which isn't really a question. It's just some commentary, really. And it's Cameron Jones saying it's a small thing. But he's liking how it fits into the WordPress UI. Too many plugins; these are too opinionated. Yeah. So was that just a decision that you made to keep it WordPressy? Because it looked just like WordPress. There was no kind of UI overhaul that you went through there. That was nice.
I'd love to say that was the original intent. Some of the reasons, so I was building out this big fancy interface and doing all this stuff, and I was like, why am I doing this? I spent like 2 months building the interface. And I was like, and I wasn't even close to done. And I was like, I'm never going to launch at this rate. And I said, forget it. I'm just going to use WordPress's stuff. And I just like completely like trashed this React based fancy UI. And I just said, I'm just using WordPress. And I just like threw together the interface way faster than what I was doing with that, just because I was hugging WordPress tight. And it was just it was a humbling and strong reminder on why I was here in the first place, right? Like, maybe I should just use some WordPress.
Speeds up your WordPress. It speeds up your workflow anyway. So that's.
But I agree. I do appreciate that it's built in. Actually, the affiliate dashboard is also just a part of the WordPress dashboard. So your affiliates and collaborators actually and the reason why is because if you wanted to have maybe one of your collaborators is a blogger, is a writer on your site, I wanted to be able to like automatically let other plugins actually extend the functionality of this naturally. And a really easy way to do that is just to use the dashboard, because that's what it's already using.
I'm with you. Graham Hoffman says Fluent Forms would indeed be a good option. So there's 2 people to add to your roadmap. Reach out to Jewel. I can connect you with Jewel if you
please
like
do
that after this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. That's good. And very last one coming in from Karen. Is there a catalog where all our options show on sites?
Do you mean all the different, I'm assuming you mean all the different programs that you can choose from. So the way that works, and stop me, Karen, if that's not true, but basically you can create a form. It's a block. It's a Gutenberg block. So basically you can just create a form with the block, and you can specify when somebody signs up on this form, you can like have it give them permission, or they have to ask for permission, whatever. There's all kinds of settings there, but the key ones is when somebody fills out this form, sign them up for the following programs. Like, you select which programs you want them to sign up for, and it'll just automatically register them for those programs. So that lets you create as many or as few pages as you need for your different programs on the public facing side of your site.
So the answer is yes, there are ways to do it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Sorry, that came out the wrong way.
It's okay.
Apology. Your answer was much better. Okay, so we've hit the top of the hour. I thought that was fabulous. A nice little smattering of questions at the end there. Just a quick one. There's a QR code, but we'll give you the URL in real terms. But at the beginning of this live Q&A, there was a handful left. Good luck. I hope that you managed to get some of those. Hopefully Alex has shown enough in there to make you think, A, that he has built something that you think is going to be useful to you, B, that he's going to support it in the near future, which is a big thing. And I heard that come out of your mouth, and that makes me feel happy. And C, there is no C. Just go to sirenaffiliates.com, and there'll be a button. There'll be many buttons.
Oh yeah, there's so many yellow buttons.
So many yellow buttons. But you can also point your camera at that video. What's the deal though? Like, if we fail, it's so hard to get you.
I know.
To get your finger to go where you want it to go. What's the deal though? If somebody watches this a couple of weeks from now and is inspired, how's the pricing going to work going forward? Are you just ramping it up slowly, or is it just going straight into subscription from whenever those sell out?
Yeah. Once I sell these 100 lifetime deals, I'm done selling lifetime. I don't know when or if I'll ever do it again.
Yep.
I haven't decided, but I know I'm not doing it indefinitely for sure.
Okay.
So from there, I'm going to offer annual payout, an annual plan, actually still pretty heavily discounted for $49 a year. Um,
Oh, that's all
yeah,
right.
yeah. So even if you miss that, you're going to have a week to get that. And then after that, it's going to bump up to my actual price of 99. So
Okay.
the launch has been in several phases of how late you are into the game, and the deal is getting progressively still really good, but not as good as it was, the day
Yeah.
before.
I bet you had
So
fun figuring all that
yeah, it
out.
was quite a dance.
Oh, well, honestly, thank you so much. So, sirenaffiliates.com, go there, find a yellow button, grab it whilst you can. Well, you'll be able to grab it forever, but grab it while the price is cheap. Anything else you want to drop just before we knock it on the head, as we say in the UK?
No, just thanks, Nathan. I really appreciate you, man. You're awesome, and I'm really glad that you're in this community.
Oh well, I'm I'm pleased about it as well, and I sincerely hope that we're hearing from Siren affiliates into the future. Thank you so much for joining me today, Alex. I will see
Yeah,
you
thank you.
soon. Cheers, mate.